In the scorching deserts of Yemen, shadows move, not just of rebels, but of nations chasing power. And at the heart of this storm is a man unshaken by diplomacy, Donald J. Trump, facing off with the most defiant force in the Arabian Peninsula, the Houthis. Before we dive deeper into this gripping saga of war, politics, and ambition, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Here on Timeless America, we uncover the real stories behind the headlines, the past, present, and future of American power. Trump and the Houthis, America's desert gamble. A conflict long in the making. Long before Trump ever took center stage, the war in Yemen had already scarred the landscape. Since 2015, the Saudi-led coalition and the Houthi rebels have been locked in a brutal conflict that has killed hundreds of thousands and displaced millions. The U.S., under various administrations, supported Saudi Arabia with intelligence, arms, and logistics, quietly, carefully, and always with plausible deniability. But that was then. That was before Trump returned. Trump's re-entry, not just politics, but revenge. When Donald Trump began his campaign to return to the White House in 2024, he didn't just promise to make America great again. He vowed to reclaim America's dominance on the world stage. The Red Sea, once a forgotten battleground, suddenly became a testing ground for Trump's renewed vision of power. While the Biden administration had scaled back involvement in Yemen, Trump's rhetoric was different. "Weakness invites aggression," he thundered at rallies. And to Trump, the Houthis, backed by Iran, launching missiles across borders, threatening U.S. allies, were the perfect villains. Who are the Houthis? To understand Trump's strategy, one must understand the enemy. The Houthis, formerly known as Ansar Allah, are a Zaidi Shia rebel group that originated in northern Yemen. Since 2014, they've seized large portions of the country, including the capital, Sana'a. But they're more than just rebels. They're a symbol of defiance against Saudi hegemony and Western influence. Backed by Iran, equipped with drones, missiles, and the will to fight on despite overwhelming odds, the Houthis have transformed into a regional threat, one that directly challenges American allies like Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and even Israel. The Red Sea attacks. A line crossed. The turning point came in early 2025. As international ships sailed through the Red Sea, one of the world's most vital trade routes, the Houthis began launching missile and drone attacks on commercial vessels. Some were Israeli-linked ships, others were global oil carriers. The message? Yemen's war was no longer contained. When an American cargo ship was struck by a Houthi missile in February 2025, killing 2 U.S. citizens and halting trade through the Bab al-Mandeb Strait, Trump, then the Republican frontrunner, seized the moment. "This is war," he declared, "and America must act like it." The Trump Doctrine. Strike first, talk later. Once elected, Trump wasted no time. Within days of taking office in January 2025, he approved a sweeping military authorization. Operation Desert Justice. Cruise missiles were launched. Drone strikes intensified. Houthi weapons depots, radar stations, and naval outposts were obliterated. But unlike past administrations, Trump didn't just target the Houthis. He sent a direct warning to Iran. "If you back our enemies, you will feel our wrath." The world watched. Oil markets trembled. But Trump, unapologetically, declared, "America is back, and we will not be messed with." The regional chessboard. Saudi Arabia's silent approval behind the scenes. Saudi Arabia, long accused of wanting peace in Yemen, gave Trump quiet encouragement. Mohammed bin Salman, the crown prince, may not have welcomed a U.S. escalation publicly, but sources suggested Riyadh viewed Trump's aggression as necessary pressure on the Houthis. The Saudis, after all, were tired. A decade of war had drained their resources and tarnished their image. Trump's intervention allowed them to step back and let America take the heat and the headlines. America's footprint grows by. April 2025, U.S. troops were quietly deployed in southern Yemen, not as combatants, officially, but as security advisors. Drones patrolled the skies 24/7. Warships filled the Red Sea. A new base was rumored to be under construction near Mukalla. Critics called it another endless war. Supporters called it American leadership. Trump called it necessary. Iran responds as expected. Iran did not stay silent. Through its network of proxies, from Hezbollah in Lebanon to Shiite militias in Iraq, it began targeting U.S. positions across the Middle East. American bases in Syria and Iraq came under attack. Oil tankers were sabotaged near the Strait of Hormuz, but Iran stopped short of direct war. Trump, in turn, authorized cyber attacks that crippled Iranian military communications for 72 hours, a move never confirmed by the Pentagon, but widely reported by intelligence analysts. The game was on, and Yemen was the board. The human cost by. Mid-2025, humanitarian agencies sounded the alarm. Trump's bombing campaign, while precise by modern standards, was devastating on the ground. Hospitals in Sana'a were overwhelmed. Aid shipments were delayed. Millions of Yemenis faced famine. UN called for restraint. Trump called it fake sympathy for terrorists. Photos of wounded children flashed across global media. But at Trump's rallies, cheers erupted as videos showed missiles hitting their marks. That's what strength looks like, Trump said. The divide grew deeper, not just in Yemen but within America itself. Russia and China step. In sensing an opportunity, Russia and China proposed a joint Middle East peace conference in Beijing. They condemned U.S. imperialism and offered to mediate a solution. Trump scoffed. They fund dictators and talk. Peace? Please? Still, the move signaled a new era. Yemen wasn't just a civil war anymore. It was a theater in the new Cold War. The Navy standoff in May 2025. A U.S. Navy destroyer intercepted an Iranian ship delivering weapons to the Houthis. The standoff lasted hours. Iranian patrol boats swarmed the area. Drones buzzed overhead. One misstep could have sparked global war. Trump, however, claimed victory. "They blinked first," he tweeted. "We don't back down." The footage aired on every major network. For Trump, it was another trophy. America divided back home. The response to Trump's Yemen campaign was split. His supporters praised the return of cowboy diplomacy. Polls showed rising approval among veterans and conservatives. But liberals, internationalists, and many independents worried about the cost. "Yemen is not our war," they chanted. "Bring our troops home." Protests grew in cities across the U.S. In June 2025, a massive demonstration in Washington demanded an end to the strikes. Trump responded with a rally of his own, flanked by military veterans. "We don't run," he said. "We win." America's Red Sea. Gamble in late June 2025, satellite imagery confirmed the construction of a new temporary U.S. naval base on the Yemeni island of Socotra. Officially for regional stability, it became a launch pad for drones, surveillance, aircraft, and potentially special operations. Environmental groups decried it. Tribal leaders warned of blowback, but Trump doubled down. Trump's 2026 strategias. The 2026 midterms approached. Trump made Yemen part of his message. "Biden gave us weakness. I gave you victory." His rallies played footage of U.S. strikes and Navy intercepts. Patriotic music blared. But advisors were nervous. What if Americans lost interest? Or worse, patience? That moment came in July 2025, when a Houthi drone swarm killed 5 U.S. soldiers near Mukalla. The first major American losses, Operation Phoenix Storm. In response, Trump launched Operation Phoenix Storm, the largest military action in Yemen in years. Missiles rained down, SEAL teams raided weapons depots. Radar sites were obliterated. Iran fumed. The UN protested. But Trump claimed strategic success. Several Houthi commanders were killed. Yet the rebels still stood, defiant, unyielding, and angrier than ever. The last frontier be August 2025, fatigue set in, not just in Yemen, but in Washington. China proposed a peace summit. France offered mediation. Even Saudi Arabia nudged for diplomacy. Trump set terms: Houthi disarmament, Iranian withdrawal, and U.S. regional dominance. The Houthis set theirs: end of sanctions, reparations, and full U.S. retreat. No deal. The war smoldered on, the cost of power by September 2025, over 10,000 civilians had died since Trump's renewed campaign began. Billions had been spent. American troops still patrolled a foreign land. The Red Sea, once a lifeline of trade, became a symbol of American might and moral ambiguity. In America, some called it victory. Others called it madness. In Yemen, it was just more fire from the sky. This is the legacy of Trump and the Houthis, a saga of defiance, ambition, vengeance, and power plays on a sand-covered chessboard. Was it necessary? Was it victory? Or was it just another chapter in an endless cycle of fire and forget? Only time will tell. If this story stirred your thoughts, subscribe to Timeless America.